All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared. It is a Wednesday, June 29th. So happy Wednesday to everyone. Midweek sort of review for the market. And as we had a pretty significant drawdown day in the markets yesterday, I figured we'd take a look at our SPX expected move for the week. I've gone ahead and marked up the upper and lower bounds of the expected move. If you recall, we're looking at about 112 point expected move as of Monday or Friday's close last week. And that puts our price levels at approximately 3,800 to the downside and 40.25 to the upside. You'll note that the market is also trading around a couple of pretty important technical and drawdown based levels, which I've left on the chart for now until we see some significant movement away from this area. So we have our bear market drawdown, 20% from all-time highs, that 38.54. And then our fib retracement, this is marked from the COVID low into the current all-time high. So this is our kind of line in the sand of longer term participants. If they are wishing to kind of stabilize the market around this price, you normally see some contention around a 38.2 fib. Drawdown much lower, let's say to the 50%, is certainly where a lot of people are targeting if the downtrend and stable I would say repricing of the market continues. And that would be not only a significant give back, but also an area of interest in the market, as we've discussed before. So short term, I'll say yesterday was an interesting trading session. We saw a complete give back of the Friday rally. And we saw what was essentially a rounded reversal style trading day in the market, where the market actually started elevated. We did see a morning attempt to expand. And then, of course, the market reversed, took an about face near the highs, and pretty much struggled to find any footing ever since that point. Along the way, we were establishing a couple of reactionary pullbacks. These are going to be areas of the market to consider for resistance if we do see any sort of rally today. And you'll notice there's a bit of a early morning sort of rounded rally that's starting to occur around 380. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But usually when we're seeing such a sharp downtrend and a price level of high open interest, as we briefly discussed yesterday, markets driving towards these prices, especially on an intraday session, can basically make the entire move very aggressively and obviously without much in the way of opposite side response. And that certainly was felt yesterday. Trying to catch reversals or just looking for oversold conditions in the market, there was some intraday opportunity whenever the market did have its pullbacks. But overall, you had to monitor and defend against new sell swings and continued downside on the S&Ps. So when looking at where the market drove to yesterday, you recall we noticed a couple of high open interest areas inside of the quarterly expirations this week. One of them was approximately 400, albeit it wasn't quite as elevated as what we were seeing around 380. And what I'm looking at here is the current state of the quarterly expiration, which still has relatively high readings around 380. You'll notice the put side is quite heavy on open interest, approximately over 100K. But this was also true at the beginning of the week. As I look at maybe a think back tool, Still just kind of keeping the SPY to keep things fair. And looking at that quarterly expiration, the 380 strike was something that remained probably our most prominent price point inside of the quarterly series. As we discussed yesterday, the idea of placing butterflies in the market, the objective of the butterfly is really to target high value zones such that if a market gets to these areas, you expect it to transact at least for a period of time such that the butterfly premium can expand. And while I showcased the 400 butterfly, the one that was a bit more bullish, you certainly could have placed something equivalent to the downside. And while I probably didn't really expect to see the type of selling yesterday, I think there was a couple of surprised reactions as to how deep we did happen to sell yesterday. 380 would have been your ultimate target based on some of the open interest readings that we did see. So whenever I do explain strategies, always keep in mind that there's two sides of any market condition. And if you're seeing better signals, better readings on different prices, or if you want to structure a trade maybe with a bit of a neutral bias where you're indifferent to whichever direction the market goes, but you want to have exposure at both of those price points, then of course, all it requires is placing equivalent trades on either side of the market. And this is really what we're doing every time we look at the expected move each and every week. Remember that the expected move is a showcase of option market risk. It tells us where do we expect the premium of a trading week to experience elevation and volatility. Where do we expect the expansion of the expected move to either begin or be recalculated? And that will directly affect option premium in existing trades, along with provide opportunity as getting outside of expected move is, from a probabilistic standpoint, an oversold and overbought condition for a move back inside. Basically moving outside of the first standard deviation bounds. And what I like about showcasing the market in this way is it removes any sort of technical targeting, which for the most part, a lot of pattern and I'll say a price action based trade teaches us. Instead, it gives us a little bit more of where is the market trying to price things? Do we have supplemental information on the option market? And can we use this information to our advantage? Obviously, trying to ride the coattails of the largest transactional value that we see. So just a short explanation of why I think yesterday was so heavy to the downside. That 380 area of the market might also be an area of contention for the next day or two, because we're seeing these readings in the quarterly series. And as the market begins to roll or close out these open interest positions, we may see the market continuously return or just struggle around 380. And that's going to be in both directions. We'll want to think of this as a value zone for now until the market proves otherwise. So wanted to also call out, there's a lot of, pull this up on Trading Terminal. There's a lot of economic data that's being released today. Most of which I won't necessarily cover in high detail. I'll allow Norm to maybe cover it a bit more during the market pulse. But ultimately, around 8:30, So, 8:30 market time, pretty much at the end of this engineering the market session, we're going to be seeing lots of data readings for Q1, pretty much everything highlighted here. And while it's going to be somewhat challenging to ascertain which one is causing any sort of market movement, I'll basically state that if we see a strong reaction to any of this information, especially if there's areas of interest in regards to GDP growth or the price index for GDP along with sales, these are some data drops, some catalysts that we might be able to take advantage of in the next 20 minutes or so. So as we finish up this show, keep that in mind. You might see the S&Ps and the market itself react to this data, obviously looking to see what is the market expecting. And a lot of these are actually large changes from previous quarterly readings. You'll notice something like the growth rate here has changed dramatically, estimate versus the previous readings for Q4. So keep all that in mind. It's going to be, once again, hard to ascertain which one's causing the movement. But as technical or just day traders, you might also just want that volatility to take place and take advantage of it short term. Okay, so moving away from the S&P, it's worthwhile that we talk about energy a little bit more. I brought to the attention that this is likely going to be an oversold bounce style play. The energy market is directly showcasing that on risk off style days, this is one area of the market that can have a bullish bias or a bullish lean. And when this market became oversold, especially as we were coming into and undercutting two previous swing lows that established more range bound style market profiles, the theory was that we were likely going to return to value. Now, we did so in pretty short order. It only took us a couple of days for this particular ETF to return. It's also true for other ETFs of a similar style. You'll notice here the same swing lows, a bit more oversold condition here. This is oil and gas exploration. And you'll note that natural gas has actually been lagging crude as of late, and that's also been seen in the equities market side. But this bounce has taken place, a little bit less clarity on the value zone. There's more of a double distribution here. And this is something that, for this ETF, we could easily see a bit more upside as this bounce continues. But as we move forward, we might want to continuously monitor what our assets look like and are doing relative to overall S&P performance. Because as I mentioned before, days and especially time frames like weekly performance, where we have core sectors underperforming or overperforming, will likely dictate what sort of directional bias to take into the next quarter. Sectors like energy, anytime they are leading, especially on a short-term bias, yesterday was a clear example, often reflect the type of risk-off day that we can have as a day trader. And obviously, our bias should be net short in all of our risk-on style sectors, whether you're doing discretionaries, which were the worst, or just tech. And even something like a healthcare, which we'll look at a couple of companies that have established their daily pivots. Excuse me. When we have these types of days, what we're normally seeing is energy is one of the few places that kind of stands out. It's also true that the metals tend to trade fairly bullish on these types of days. That's not necessarily been the case as of late, mostly because of dollar strength. But overall, this has been kind of the trend, and this is mostly a short-term intraday or maybe multi-day kind of strategy. We're certainly looking for larger sectors to bottom. They're either trying to we're trying to ascertain, relative risk in these sectors. We're getting a sense of whether new trends are forming, new trend line resistances. For example, something like tech maybe coming into a more aggressive trend line, seeing, the type of selling we saw yesterday. And then the narrative that we've been discussing, which is the bounce in healthcare, bringing us pretty much to our value zone. We basically got a little bit underneath. And now we're going to be looking for this to be confirmed. We're going to be looking for drawdown down to our support area. We're going to look to see if anything does come into the market. And what we're trying to do here is ascertain whether this is simply another bounce along the way, or is there more to this? Is there a trend change that is in formation and likely to carry the market into Q3? So continue to strategize and maybe postulate how the market is posturing for the next quarter. I'm a big fan of the idea that healthcare might be a leader, but once again, energy will need to continue to distribute. It'll need to not necessarily regain any bullish bias, and overall, it'll need to remain within this trading range for a period of time. Obviously, seeing more of a false expansion and potentially a trend change moving forward. As I pull up a weekly, this kind of becomes a bit more clear as to what could be forming. You'll note that we undercut the 20 period for the first time, obviously with a lot of volatility in between. And however high this bounce goes, we'll certainly be looking for the potential of a trend change or simply back and forth trade, as this is a relatively high value zone for energy stocks. So I bring these sectors up a lot, mostly because they're the ones that are in focus. We're also going to be looking across other sectors for confirmation, but a lot of sectors, especially yesterday, have aligned themselves to the 20 period and are seeing a rejection. So the S&P, the daily bounce has pivoted. We're seeing a daily lower high being set. We're rejecting off of our 20. And as we're coming back down, what daily bulls are looking to do is basically catch the pullback. They're trying to remain somewhat in control, not necessarily see a new fresh low in the market. That would obviously be a very negative sign for the rest of Q3. And additionally, looking at longer term trend changes, we've had a couple attempts in the past. They normally will occur during periods of weakness where the market has to reject something like a 20, pull down deeper than most expect, and then of course break that high, whatever high gets established on the bounce. So we've seen this before. Don't necessarily think that this is the beginning of a new sell swing, but it is the area to defend. It's where bears are positioned. It's likely going to be where we're going to focus for trend changes moving forward. And obviously, with any trend line that you see on the chart currently, it's a very aggressive area to begin a sell swing. We're not even testing the more aggressive trend line that I've established during the larger short rally that occurred. So using all of this and kind of postulating what the rest of the week is going to look like, I would say our quarterly expiration remains the sort of, the bias for the next couple of days. We'll open up on Friday with July trade. We'll see how the market kind of postures itself going into July. We'll also wait to see how those 380 open interest trades start to roll or be placed in future series. That's something you can monitor actively, or you can simply look at it after the fact once the quarterly series is closed. And as we review all of the correlation in the market, you'll notice the picture here is pretty much the same. Whether you're looking at the IWM, it also rejected its 20 period. It's a very aggressive area for it to reject, but it is technically, where we're going to be defending from now on. As bears, position should be defended around this area unless we get some sort of catalyst to bring us closer to the 50 period. If you look at the Nasdaq, same basic idea. So it's the right mentality to think short, especially in the shorter time frames. Be careful of the potential that this is not a strong enough daily high to be defended for the next sell swing. And obviously be looking for the market to facilitate more downside as we move into July, or counter it with the potential of sector rotation into a strong relative sector like healthcare. Also remember, as I brought up with the sector rotation graph, when you look at this image, when we're looking at healthcare specifically, healthcare is not necessarily late stage bear market posturing. It is in fact mid stage. So if you are in the camp of additional downside in the overall S&Ps, if you think that the market certainly has more to go before we see a high impact or a structured bottom for the market, then healthcare is going to lead us potentially into that late stage. And that means that the low might not be set. We'll certainly see if that's kind of how this transition occurs. And then, of course, looking truly for a market bottom, we'll need to see things like technology lead the way, but also a bit more rotation into finance and a stabilization of other key sectors in the market. So with all that in mind, the last thing I'll leave you with is a quick overview of some of our interest rate readings that we're looking to see if we've had some relative topping behavior in things like the 10-year and the 30-year, all of which have pulled back to their, at least from a trending perspective, pulled back to the 20 period. We're obviously seeing prices and readings above the 20 period, so nothing structurally out of place in regards to an uptrend. We also, note that the TLT did so far pull away from the 20 period, and we're certainly seeing a little bit of bullish behavior yesterday, given that it was risk off in the market, more of a classic risk off, as Michael Guyad would say. However, note the location for the TLT. I certainly still see the potential that this is more or less a lower bound test. It's a bit of an overextension in regards to how far we have sold on larger time frames, how far away we are from things like the 20 period weekly. Markets typically don't like to trade far away from this before seeing something like a larger time frame snapback or just a pullback, of which we'll obviously interpret when it forms. And as we've noted, this is readings for the 10-year, let me pull up a monthly, that have basically broken through prior high pivots. This is our October 2018 readings, where the 10-year did slightly test about 3.25%. We've seen basically an overreach. It's potential that this is a upper bound test. From a technical sense, it typically is rare to see breakouts from an overextended position. And the bond market itself has an overextension look to it. So I'm still kind of looking to this market to be not necessarily net bullish, but start to stabilize in the short term, looking to maybe put more positional risk in something like bond products. And obviously, if we are looking at a downtrend turning more or less into a stabilization, the range qualities of this market should start to show themselves over the next couple of weeks. We do have precedent for that, and what that could look like. We'll probably be looking more or less for trade activity where we're testing the 50 period. We're starting to see maybe higher lows starting to form. That's, of course, going to take a bit of time. But overall, the advantageous idea here is that if you are looking to go long bonds, this area might be an area to start considering or even start to prepare for an eventual pullback. So that is something I definitely would like to keep on watch as we move into Q3. What are the bond products doing? How are they responding to equity sell-offs, both intraday and maybe over bigger periods? And obviously, anytime we get data readings regarding inflation or the future prospects of I guess, elevated inflation readings either coming down or stabilizing, where is the bond market posturing for that? And how is it responding to any information coming from the Federal Reserve? So with all that said, I'll go ahead and pause here or just call it a day here. That'll open the floor for a couple of minutes before we get those data drops that I showcased on the trading terminal. So for now, obviously trade safe. We'll look a little bit at the quarterlies tomorrow, see if there's any new information. But overall, I think we have everything we need this week. Remember, we're on the lower bound of the expected move. Probability states that we likely trade inside before seeing any significant breach. And then finally, keep an eye on what happens with these readings moving into today, because we are looking at a fairly oversold session yesterday. We could consolidate for at least a day or two before seeing another bigger transition or transactional change. So trade safe, stay tuned for pre-market prep, and we'll talk more tomorrow.
Having an amazing morning. Hopefully, you guys had an incredible day yesterday. Good morning, Norm. How you doing today?
Good morning, brother. I'm thoroughly confused right now on something.
Yeah.
The squawk just threw out. We were supposed to have, right there at the bottom of the hour, right before you came on,
Mm-hmm.
GDP revision from first quarter, which came in a little bit worse than expected. It was originally reported at negative 1.5. That was expected to be the case. It came out at negative 1.6, and then Squawk started saying PCE, some inflation data that's not due out until tomorrow. So, unless my data feed of what is supposed to come out today is incorrect, I am thoroughly confused. If somebody has an idea about what just happened, let me know. And the market is not pleased with that data. So, that I can tell we're starting to drop. We've been green for most of the morning. We're SPY is almost back to break even. So, yeah, I don't exactly know what just happened.
Yeah, yeah. Spy is definitely reacting to it as we see here, dropping down, and very strange, of course. So, uh, all right, we'll see how that's gonna play out here. But
Let me see if I
you
can
see
find
the
out what just happened while you go through yesterday's plays.
Yeah, yeah, let's do that. All right, guys, let's take a look at what we had yesterday on the list, starting with our friend here, Nia, which we have a lot to talk about there. But before we do so, let's go over to our play from yesterday. So Neo had an incredible pre-market activity, was looking very, very weak yesterday in the pre-market. At the market open, it actually did see a little bit of a bounce here, kind of selling up towards the VWAP and some moving averages, and then just sold off right back down towards the low of the day that it has set and the low of the pre-market at that time. So you did get, some pops and drops there early on Neo. Now later in the day, it didn't do much. I guess it really just stayed within this range, 2250 and the low of the day at that time. Went sideways a little bit there, and that's all you really got on Neo was just this initial breakout and drop there, and then nothing after that, even the later parts of the afternoon. Lee also was very weak, similar situation, except on this one, you did get a nice drop and continuation, guys. So you did see a nice little drop here happening all the way down to the low of 36.21. So that was fun. And then for the most part, there just kind of gave you somewhat of a double bottom late into the day here with a nice little pump. So that was Lee yesterday. Again, very, very active. A lot going on there as well. Tesla, for the most part, was extremely weak, and this was a sell off the entire day yesterday. Pre market was a little quiet. We kept it on deck. I think just because the EVs were active, right? We had Neo and Lee active, so we just kept Tesla, which has can be very explosive. Yesterday gave you a nice pop to take off here, and then got toppy at 750. From there, never looked back, guys. So just look at the drop you got here. Lost the low of the day and the pre-market at that time. Try to get to the 9 moving average. It did actually try to get to 20 moving average. Could not. Held on to the 9 the entire time, all day long, guys. I mean, this thing, there was no bouncing back at all from Tesla yesterday. So that was a pretty nice short if you got into it at any point during the day yesterday. Um, hold on, my Epic Pen is stuck for some reason. Let's take a look here. Oh, that's not good. Okay, there it is. I think I fixed it. Okay. Also, AMD also dropping very nicely, very similar to Tesla, just a short the entire day. And again, these stocks had a little issue to get going, right? At the beginning, a little bit of an indecision here on AMD, but man, what a beautiful short the entire morning. At noon, you do get some relief here. And then the risk to reward here becomes a little questionable now to take this for a further short or even a long there. So it's just a tough trade to take at all. This was the move there. After that, it gets very extended and then some more sideways action here on AMD. So again, just pretty good stuff. Amazon, same thing there. Again, very similar to the overall market and also AMD. And then Bob was a little bit choppy, a little bit messy, but it eventually gave in to the sell-off that was happening there around noon or so. And then from there, it kind of goes flat. So, I mean, guys, we all know the sell-off yesterday is going to push these stocks around quite a bit. If you look at the SPY, a lot of these tickers doing the exact same thing yesterday. Right, so that's what we had. Let's look at our news. Norm, do we have anything that popped up maybe on that?
I don't know. Jared's saying he's had it on his list, but it's not on
Mm-hmm.
mine or just about anywhere else I see. It's supposed to come out tomorrow, from my understanding. So I don't know.
Interesting.
Regardless, doesn't matter. Maybe whoever puts my list together is incorrect. I actually, there's another member that compiles data as well, and he had it coming out as tomorrow too. So I don't know what's going on. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's caused the market to go red now. So the data that if it was the list was incorrect or something. So, and I apologize, guys. My camera, I tried to fix it yesterday. It's still doing this freeze deal with Carlos. So I'll refresh here and there. But anyway. Yep, been over on YouTube saying shows it tomorrow at 8:30 as well. So who knows? Anyway, regardless, let's get on with our day. We've got some interesting stuff here.
We sure do, my friends. I forgot to pull up my YouTube chat. I had it on my phone when I was responding earlier, but let me bring this over so I can see what's going on. Just give me one quick second, guys. Okay, there we are. Perfect. I see Susan is in the chat. Good morning, Susan. Excellent. And all right, we are set to go. All right, let's look at what we have, guys. So we looked at the stuff from yesterday. Let's get rid of this. Control A, Control X gets rid of that. And now we have a clean watch list there. Today we have actually quite a few stocks on both sides of the field here, both on the red and the green. Let's start with the green side today. We have TWLO. Let me link my trade ideas. That will be important. Let's do that. External linking. Got to do this every morning. I wish it would be automated, but it does save us a whole bunch of time. So worth taking the time to do that. We'll link that there. Get this out of the way. And now TWLO. There it is. All right, so TWOU, excuse me, not TWO. That's a whole different ticker that we actually trade quite a bit. This one, I don't know what this is, and I don't think we ever traded this.
I've seen it pop up on the list here and there. It's an educational company based in the U.S., I believe. I don't like it. It's not. There's rumors of a buyout, but regardless, it's just not my cup of tea. The volume looks terrible on the 1 minute. The catalyst is crummy for intraday trading. So
yeah, nothing seems good on this one, guys. We'll skip on it. I mean, up 18%, that's great, but everything else looks horrible. X Air. I don't think we ever seen this one. X Air. This is a.
I don't recall this one coming. No, yeah, Beyond.
Beyond.
They wanted to make a product even better than the other one that it shall not be mentioned to avoid the hate mail. This is a medical device company. Some various treatments that involve, I believe it's nitric oxide generation. Anyway, they reported results after the close yesterday, and they're getting a pop. They also have some FDA approval news that they announced as well. So treating them nicely this morning. I don't know how this thing trades. Not looking that great on my charts. Looks very choppy on the 5.
Yeah, it looks all over the place, guys. I mean, hard to keep on deck here. I'm going to pass on this one. YMM this morning, a Food Truck Alliance. These guys are up 7%. Pre-market activity actually looks okay. 83,000 shares traded for the most part. Their daily it's not bad, but it's not great, right? I mean, I think we really have to wait for the market open on this one. I don't think this name sounds familiar. I'm not sure I ever actually traded or kept it on my list. Not bad. Let's put us a possible for now, right? How about that? Looks like they have some good news going on today.
This is a Chinese digital freight platform, trucking. I guess they had paused registration of new users. They've announced they've resumed registering new users. Not my favorite here, but who knows? Maybe it does something.
Yeah. Let's see if that can do something. Again, their pre-market looks decent. It daily looks okay. It's not a blockbuster stock, but let's see what it does. BZ this morning up 4%, guys, and this one, and this is horrible pre-market activity. I hate when stocks do this, guys. You get this pop here, you drop back down to where you came from, and you go flat with no volume. It's just garbage, recipe for disaster. Let's move on to pins this morning. They're up nice at 4.3.
Pine Truss.
Pine Trust, yes. And they are up right now 4.1, 175,000. I don't see anything explosive. I mean, their daily is a little not all over the place, but you're kind of stuck in here. You're not breaking out. Like here would have been nice to look at this, right? Although it's sold off at the moment, just kind of in between the highs and lows. I don't see anything great on this. I'm not sure. Is there any news worth watching this one, Norm?
Yeah, actually, this ticker, along with the other social media ones, have been brought back memories with Pine Trusts. Yes, and for those of you that don't know, that's how Andrew originally pronounced the name of this company. So we used to mess with them a little bit about it. Anyway,
Yep.
their CEO is stepping down. They have been getting destroyed along with other social media plays, and their CEO is going to be replaced. Let's see if that can help with some turnaround, and stocks popping.
All right. Again, let's see. Maybe at the market open, we'll get something. It is a nicey stock, so the pre-markets are usually not great for these. Although this one can put in a better pre-market than most nicey stocks, so possible for now. TCOM was active yesterday. I didn't keep it on my list. How did it actually trade? Let's go back here. Oh, it seemed
Ooh.
tough here. It seemed tough. Didn't seem as an easy trader. We
That's
have
funny,
better
man.
ones,
For a good period of time, the Chinese tickers traded pretty well, and
Yeah.
I'm not finding much in any of them.
They
And we'll
they
get into
traded
Neo in a
well.
minute.
When you were on vacation, they traded well. When you came, since you've been back, and probably the day before that, they haven't. They've been horrible. So
That
yeah,
makes
they're not
sense.
fun. This is no good here, guys. I don't see anything great at the moment. I'm gonna skip on this one. And the last one, since we're here already, BP this morning, it is up 2%. But you guys know which one I like when it comes to these petroleum, oil type companies, energy plays. Oxy is the one to look at. So I'll keep an eye on that one as a positive for now. You got some movements yesterday on this. You did get the volume. Again, not crazy great yesterday. You did get volume, but you hard to trade when you're trading like this. Again, you have better things like AMD, Nvidia, Apple. These other companies who are doing really good. All right, a gap down this morning, guys. We have BBBY down 14% today. So this is a massive drop for them. And their short interest is 78%. Man, that is
Rightfully so, huh?
wow.
Yeah,
What do
it's
you have on
very
Finviz?
high.
I'm just curious. What do you have on Finviz?
Give me a
Just
second.
curious
It's up
because
there too, but it's 32% on Finviz. Who
okay.
knows which one of those is
Right.
correct? It is elevated and very elevated nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
You can find that occasionally. They reported earnings this morning. They reported losings this morning. How about that?
Losings.
Losings that were substantially bigger losses than expected. The earnings per share estimate was a loss of $1.33. They lost $2.83, so more than double what was expected. Their revenues were expected at $1.53 billion for the quarter. They reported $1.46 billion for the quarter, so a good chunk off of that as well. You know, they brought in a new CEO a while back. It was supposed to be a turnaround story. If I'm not mistaken, he came from Target. I could be thinking another one. This was a couple years ago. That's just off the top of my head. And it was like a big deal. It caused the stock to pop and rally when he was coming over, and apparently he couldn't do it. So he's leaving, and they are appointing. They're appointing a interim CEO that is a board member. So
I feel you thought it was the guy from GME. Could be. Norm mentioned it. He doesn't recall 100%.
No, so that's not the CEO. You're talking about Cohen, who was the guy that took over GME. He's taken a position in BBBY, but he's not the CEO.
Gotcha. All right, so that's what that is. But yeah, man, this company, wow, just getting destroyed here, guys. I mean, not having a good time. So definitely in play. We'll put it on here. 1.5 million shares traded, down 14%. Just continues to make its way down to zero at the moment. So LYT right now, this is a low flow sitting at 8.2 million shares float. Look at the day yesterday. What is this? I'm not gonna watch this. This just looks insane.
This one lost 90% of its value yesterday on no news.
On nothing.
Yeah. nobody seemed to find anything. I don't see anything either. This is a platform technology ticker. It is based. I can't tell. I'm sorry. Even like FinViz doesn't have any info on this ticker.
Yeah.
It's always sus when you pull it up. It's a recent IPO, I believe. It's a recent IPO, a couple weeks old. This is either, I believe, Chinese or maybe Indian. But it's a platform technology service. It lost 90% yesterday. It continues to go down more.
Yeah, that is brutal, man. Brutal. And look at the volume too. Like this thing started out yesterday's action. Just look. I mean, what's this? Like 3 shares traded, and you drop from 45 to 30, and then all hell broke loose after that.
It's in the BVI. That's never good. It's actually somebody. Thank you for throwing that up in the chat. It's located in the BVI.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm not gonna even bother with that. UPST this morning, man, they had a rough day yesterday here. Let's take a look at today. Today they're down another 10%. What's going on with this one? This is getting just destroyed here. So
they got a downgrade out of Morgan Stanley this morning, amongst other problems. They went from equal weight to underweight and changed their price target from $88 to $19.
That is not good. Unfortunately, we don't have no shares for sure on this one, and I cannot for any where in my in my trading will see it going long on this thing. At least not now. So I'm not gonna watch it, guys. We don't have shares for sure interactive brokers, but this thing just getting destroyed. CUK and CCL are both on here, as you guys know. CUK, different share class from CCL. We'll watch CCL, which is the one that trades the better with good pre-market activity and better volume. Right now, down 9.1%, guys. Wow, 3.1 million shares traded. Man, oh man.
You looking at, brother?
CCL.
They had some big news come out. They had which I'm trying to think. It was one of the major analysts, and I can't remember which bank here, is saying in a bear case scenario, this could be going to zero because of the amount of debt they've taken on. If there's some other, if they said potentially if there's one more major shock. I look like a bulldog the way my camera froze. That's great. If there's one more major shock to their deal and they have to, stop cruising or stop taking on passengers like they did in COVID, that with the amount of debt they've taken on and what interest rates are doing, that they could go to zero. So that's what's happening there. Yeah.
Wow. Hey, listen, man, the boating business is not cheap to maintain those bad boys. It's expensive. I can only imagine that even if they're not moving, there's so much maintenance you have to do on these things. It's just unbelievable. Wow, CCL, guys, down to 9 something here. And this is very close, or if not lower, than the pandemic times, I believe, right? I mean, we are definitely, we are actually, well, very close. It was actually 7 something, looks like, but we're not far from that, guys. So CCL definitely in play. We do have shares for sure on this one. Great volume, good pre-market activity. We'll keep an eye on this there. Heading down, we do have REV this morning. This doesn't look good. This is Revlon. We've been watching this back and forth, but just doesn't look great.
Yeah.
I'll look at one more, then we'll go to announcements, guys. We have NCLH. We're running a little bit late this morning. NCLH this morning here, we do have a little bit of a drop there. Maybe it's a sympathy play. Well, not maybe. Definitely a sympathy play.
Yes.
CCL is the one to watch today.
Let's hit Carvana CVNA. It's just below the list. Oh, did we talk about NEO? We didn't hit NEO.
We missed NEO. We got so caught up with
NEO.
CCL.
And NEO's an important one to talk about.
Oh, today. Yes. Let's go to that one first. Here's
NEO and then Carvana. And then we'll go to announcements real quick. NEO, a short firm came out and put them on blast saying that they are faking their financials. This is never good. I've had this conversation with you guys. I won't touch this one again. LK happened. I'm not saying it's the case. I'm not saying that the short report is true, but we've seen it happen. It happened a long time ago in some tickers back in the day. And if anybody has been here long enough and remembers Luckin Coffee, if anybody's had a Luckin Coffee this morning, let me know, because the same thing happened with them a few years ago. What was that, like 2 years ago? I think
Yeah,
it was 2
okay,
years
right?
ago. About
Something like
now,
that.
actually.
Yeah,
I think it was
yeah.
almost exactly 2 years ago. It might have even been
Yeah,
2019,
look at that. 2
pre-COVID.
years ago, June, yeah, June
Okay.
2020. Yeah.
Yeah. So same thing happened. Short report came out. Oh, no, 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 no. We do all this, and people got pissed at me in here, and they sell all kinds of stuff. I was like, dude, that ain't right. If you look at the stats on coffee drinking in China, it's like less than a cup of coffee per person per day, compared to here it's like an average of 3 or 4 cups a person. And that's why
Mm-hmm.
Starbucks does so well, and Starbucks has
Right.
tried to convert those people, but a lot of it's tea. Anyway, they
Mm-hmm.
did a big research report saying that there's no way Luckin Coffee's doing, and this was a high flyer like a Neo has been. And Luckin got frozen. Several people in the room, I said I wouldn't touch it again after that report came out. Several people in the room got stuck in it. Brian got a few hundred shares stuck in it. And it got delisted and went to penny stock status. And yep, they said LK was going to be the Starbucks of China, but it was
Yeah,
all bogus.
I remember that 100%. Wait, ain't this the Neo, the Tesla of China? You know, once you start hearing comments
Yeah.
like that, you got to
Yeah.
be very, very careful. Yeah, I again, it's just so scary to touch it now. I think it's going to change the way this thing trades. Got to be very careful, guys. On the list for sure. I just want to see it. It's my entertainment stock for today, but I don't know how this thing's going to trade. All right, and the other one we had was Carvana, right? What is it?
CVNA. And that's
Yeah.
why, so you've got others moving, Lee, XPEV moving with Neo and Sympathy. So anyway, yeah, CVNA dropped like crazy yesterday, 18+%, I believe. Some concerns about, hang on. And I'm an old man. Sometimes I just lose it. They got a downgrade and some other issues, but they had a big drop yesterday. We'll see how that continues.
Yeah. We'll have them on here, guys. They're actually moving pretty well this morning. Have it as a possible because they are a little bit difficult to trade, but there've been some occasions where they do actually pretty good. All right, guys. Let's do this. Let's go to announcements because I want to take care of a few things there, and then we'll come back and we look at some tickers just so we can get back on track. We'll go to the chat room and see what you guys can throw out for us. Norm, I don't think I have a new one, right? Let's go to the website.
No, just go to the website. It's been better recently anyway, because we've had to change some here and there. So anyway, onboarding every Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern with Carlos. Next week, we will find a time. We will update you guys since the market is closed. Since the market's closed, we'll update you on what date that'll happen. Then Tuesday, next week, you are doing the strategy webinar. That one's on pre-market analysis and risk management. Following week, market theory by Thor. Wednesday, psychology. We'll have tonight, Randy Howe, 8 p.m. Eastern, talking about keeping emotional control while the money is real. And next week, Dr. Kenneth Reed talking about 10 things you need to know about bear markets. I cannot wait to see that one. He is phenomenal. Mentorship every Thursday. Tomorrow, that'll be with John at 11 a.m., Ed at 4 p.m. If he's trading, can anybody answer that you guys spend a lot of time in Ed's room? I do sometimes, but I can't remember. I have a feeling MU is one of the tickers that he doesn't like to trade. I could be very wrong on that, but MU has results after the bell tomorrow. Maybe he'll be trading it. And then at 4:30, he does his actual mentorship session, 8 p.m. with Thor. So I am right. Thank you, Mighty Mouse. Yeah, he's not a big fan of MU, so I don't know if he'll be trading that or not, but maybe you guys can at least watch it and watch the moves on it. Don't forget about stocktradingsimulator.com, our free web-based trading simulator. And if you're watching on YouTube, haven't been in the room, use the promo code PreMarket24. It'll get you a discount off the intro membership. That's 7 calendar days, 5 trading days in the room, unless there's a holiday, which we do have on Monday. So maybe you want to wait till Monday or Tuesday to sign up for that, or Tuesday, excuse me. Just use the promo code PreMarket24. And then don't forget about the coaching session and 50% off discount with the Read 50 promo. That'll be ending in a couple of days as he is getting filled up on appointments. So anyway.
All right, excellent. Thank you very much,
guys.
Norm, for that. Okay, guys, let's get to it. I did not forget about you guys. We will go over to the chat and start getting some tickers from you, see what you have this morning. Speaking of Ed, Ed is very funny. I put a tweet out and he sent I asked a question about monitor how many monitors you use, and Ed uses, if you guys are not aware, he uses 9 monitors. There's Ed stations, right? So he's has a very busy station there. So far on this post, let's see what we got going on. I believe majority of you traders are using, let's see here, 1 to 2, 3 to 4, kind of like the sweet spot of what people are using as far as monitors for day trading. Then we got a few that are using 5 to 6, except our buddy and the legendary Ed. He's using 9 monitors. So we'll see how that goes there.
I'm gonna have to
All
go to
right.
Best Buy in a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely need to get step up my setup here.
Can you get a graphics card anymore? Can you?
Um,
Are they still hard to get?
you
I
know
haven't
what?
tried to buy one in a while.
They gotten better. They gotten better, but I haven't. Again, I got mine well before this thing went crazy, and it's been fine. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, let's see how that goes there. I did notice though, because I had to. One of my kids broke a monitor. They came in here and they dropped the light, and the light hit the monitor. I had to buy a monitor. Um, they're cheaper. They're slightly cheaper, so it's
Good to hear,
coming down a
guys.
little bit. Yeah.
Well, they were ridiculous. I
Oh,
remember I
insane.
had to replace some stuff in the height of the
Hmm.
BS, and what usually would be like a $600 or $700 graphics card was like people wanted $3,000 for them. You couldn't find them. It was insane.
Yeah, yeah. And the places that would not spike the price up, like Micro Center is usually where I get my stuff. You
Couldn't
had to
find
get
them.
there like at 4 a.m. on delivery day,
Yeah, yeah,
and they
yeah.
were gone. It's
Yeah.
just it was massive. It's
They
just
they
insane.
put maximums you could buy on them too. I think it was a lot of times it was only they'd only let you buy one.
Yep, yep. It
You
was
still couldn't find them.
crazy.
No.
All right, guys. With that said, we got some time for you guys to throw some tickers at me. Let's go ahead and see what you guys like this morning. I'm looking at both chats, both YouTube and our main chat. What do you guys like? We have right now BBBY, CCL, and Neo. All three of these looking very, very active this morning. And Neo is more of an entertainment stock. I want to see what happens here, but most likely I will not be taking a trade on that because that type of catalyst is just never good, never, never good. And who knows what can happen here if this thing is halted until they decide to research this. I mean, hopefully they can come out of it, but I think stocks, when that happens, they never trade the same. It's just my thought on that. All right, we'll start with you, Michael. Oxy. I do have Oxy as a possible here, and it is looking very good on the daily as well. It just didn't trade so clean yesterday, right? It's a little bit on the choppier side. But it's always good to watch. So I keep it as a possible on there for now. XOM is another good one. I know you like that one, Michael. Have you ever been able to trade that one? Oh, good. I know you watched that one quite a bit, but Oxy's definitely on my list. BBBY, not terrible, but I really dislike trading a stock this cheap. Yes, yeah, it is getting into this lower price here. I do agree. I still think this would be a good trader just because it's a massive company, right? Even at this lower price. But I agree. Once it starts getting below 10, it can be a little funny at times to trade. But this will definitely be in play today. Oxy trades terrible. Yeah, Jason, some people don't like Oxy. I've had a good opportunity on Oxy in the past, not lately though. I gotta say, though, when we were trading Oxy, when it was I'll show you because it was very clean. Within this range here, almost every day in here, man, we had some really good opportunities when it went from it kept going from the bottom to the top, from the top to the bottom. We had some really good trades in here, and then the breakout. After that, notice a different candle, the difference between the candles that we're seeing here and the ones we're seeing here. You see how wide these candles are? The continuation you got on the breakouts were really, really good. These candles on the daily are much smaller, so signifying, not the cleanest pre-market intraday action. So yeah, it's changed quite a bit since then, but we had some really good opportunities on this one. So again, the fun might be over on this one. We'll have to see how it goes. No, man, there's no hate on Oxy at all. No hate. I mean, it's just it all depends your style. I mean, I gotta tell you, knowing what you're good at is so important. And everyone's gonna look at one stock and say this is garbage, and someone's gonna look at it and say, this is my bread and butter. And that's the great thing about trading, and that is perfectly fine. So this is why when you see someone watching like XOM, which I will not touch, but there's some traders here that will watch XOM or will watch like a BP, right? I've seen Eamon trade this. I've seen Thor sometimes trade this. I wouldn't trade this, but it's their bread and butter, and the way they're trading their style is perfectly fine. So Yeah, what works for you might not work for somebody else, and vice versa, right? It's very important to understand that. Let's go here to AMD. Let's start here. I lost my spot, so I'll start with AMD here from Whale. Yep. AMD here. We are AMD's daily looks good. I like AMD. Down 1.1 this morning, losing this level here on the previous day close. Had a massive red day yesterday, like many stocks did. That with the overall market. Yeah, I think AMD is a good one to watch today. What is Apple doing, by the way? Just thinking about that because I haven't seen that in a while. Yeah, not doing a whole lot right now. So we'll look at AMD. Neo is good. Meta. Let's look at Meta today. Meta on the daily, looking okay. Yeah, I like Meta on the daily. Popping up a little bit here. It's actually in the green, up 1.2. Let's put Meta on here. We can always come back to that one. What else do we have? We have Roblox, RBLX. Rage TV is giving us Roblox here. Pretty quiet on the volume. What did they do yesterday? Pretty quiet on the volume. I know there's a lot of news behind this one. Just kind of did what the overall market did here. Not anything on their own. Their daily does look good though. I like the way they had this run up here, and you're just kind of just stalling here a little bit. So it's got a good daily activity. That has been looking well. This morning pre-market actually is pretty quiet, so I'm not going to add them because of that. That could get better, of course, at the market open. Mara was on the scanners earlier. Owen, Mara has been a stock that, again, I used to trade often, very, very often, not anymore. It just doesn't look good. They're down 2.8 right now with some volume, but for the most part, the intraday on this has not been great, so I'm going to stay away from that. UPST, why did we not keep yeah, UPST, we have no shirts on in the play right now. So definitely in play. They're down 11%. This stock just continues to get crushed here. 2 really bad days back to back, and they're barely hanging on to this 3160 level. It might just continue to drop here. Chris MC, I used to trade Mara almost every day like a year ago. Yeah, every day Mara. You could, that's all you had to watch. Mara, AMD, and a couple in Neo. And now you can watch Mara because it trades horrible. Neo might join that list very soon, depending how this goes here. So, you go through these transitions of stocks as you trade for a couple of years, and it's just fun to watch. MU, as you know, Ed was mentioning how, Norm was mentioning how Ed used to trade that all the time. Now you can't touch MU. It's just a horrible trading stock. All right, so what else we have, guys? So that is Mara. What else we have? EW. What is that? EWJ. Oh, Japan ETF. Yeah. So interesting situation here, but yeah, I wouldn't touch this one. Let's look at BA. BA this morning. What do we have? BA. Let's go here. Take a look at BA. Over on YouTube, my friends, yeah, let's hit that thumbs up. We appreciate it very, very much. We're sitting at 189. Our goal is going to be 400 for the day. If we can get that before 9:15, that would be great. So thank you very much for that. BA at the moment, pretty quiet so far, so I don't see anything excellent on it. Ever do you? Yeah, so the VIX, we're aware of the VIX. I don't actually trade the VIX. I used to before quite a bit. I don't trade this as much. It's leverage. You got to be very, very careful. I don't remember if this is the one that's leveraged or I think it's the VIX. Yeah, I think it's this one here. But either way, we don't trade this as much. You can watch it, volatility index. For the most part, I'm just trading other actual tickers that are moving very well, like AMD, Nvidia, Apple. These guys are getting the volume. Neo, well, we'll see how that goes. CCL is going to be good today. I think these are pretty good. And you can look at ETFs like SPY, the TQQs, the Qs. All those ETFs will do really good and move very well. Their price action is better than UVXY, and you got to be very careful with UVXY. That price action could be very wild, and the moves, guys. I mean, your risk management game has to be on point if you're trading UVXY, right? Got to be on point. You cannot be playing around if your discipline is not 100% on an A game. Be very careful with those indexes. All right, so Lee here. So Lee is down 2%, maybe on a sympathy move right now because of Neo. And again, I would I trade Lee now instead of Neo? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Lee is a possible at the moment. Let's see what happens there. UPST is no good. Nvidia. Let's see Nvidia real quick here. Excuse me there. Nvidia, guys. Nvidia, it's got some volume. We're trying to hold this level of support here. We can put Nvidia. We can see how that develops in a couple of minutes here. AMD is good. Yeah, I like AMD a lot today. That looks very, very nice. And I think we're set, guys. Anything else that we might have missed? How to trade the Q and the SPY from Europe. Gian, you'll have to find a broker that can allow you to trade from Europe. I'm sure there is. We have some traders in Europe that are doing it. I don't know how, but I'm sure there's brokers that will allow you to trade the Qs and the SPY. Maybe they're going offshore. I know if you go to an offshore broker, the rules are a lot more laxed. But maybe that's something that you can do. Nvidia is my Baba for this month. Oh, it's like my Baba. Yeah, Baba has been just incredible as we finish out this month here. Has gotten a little quiet lately. But man, for the entire month of June, Baba was just wild. And you can see here on the day, look how wide these candles are. You just kept getting really good continuation, which makes a big difference, guys, when you're joining a trade and you get that continuation. Like here, we were in a downtrend, but look how small the daily candles are. You're not getting what you were getting here almost every single day. You have some really good continuation. It'll gap up, gap down, pick a direction, and it'll just go. It'll just go. So the entire month of June, we had some really, really big days here. So yeah, this definitely made my month today. That was my MVP for this month of June as we're finishing the month out. And then Nvidia, you said Nvidia was good for you. Nvidia, yeah, got a couple of good days here on Nvidia as well. BBBY for sure or buy the dip shoe. You know what? I feel like you have asked me that before on some stocks that look very good and very active. BBBY, we don't know. I do not know. I mean, right now this is looking very weak, down 50%, but 50% at this price is very extended towards the downside. So it would not shock me if this will have a rip your face off day today and rally back up into green territory, right? So this company is making changes. They're talking about changing their CEO, so they're trying. Maybe there's some value in that, but again, it's a big retail company. I don't think they're going to. I don't know if they're going to go bankrupt just yet, or if they have, or if they're looking to fire, or somebody's going to step in and save them. Who knows? But I don't see this one going away just like that. So just got to be careful. Got to look at your trade book and see what sets up, whether it's going to be a long or short opportunity on this. But again, very weak right now, very very weak right now. But you got to keep in mind it's down 15%. How much more room does it have towards the downside? You gotta be careful on that. But yeah, we can't tell by now if it's gonna be short or long. That's very difficult to tell, right? Um, Okay, excellent, guys. I think we have a decent list. BBY, CCL, NEO, AMD, Meta, and NVIDIA. I'm going to go ahead and start doing some levels here, and then we can see what our moderators are watching today as well. Let's start with BBBY. Again, down huge right now, 15.2 at the moment. Low of the pre-market, it is 540, so that is creating a nice new low there. Above that, we do have 596, and then we have our previous day close and the lows for the last two trading days right on there. Let's go to the left here. When's the last time we were down here? I want to just double check something. Let's go back. Maybe pandemic time frame. 2020 looks like we were well below that. So not our all-time low, but our 52-week low at least. Well, not 52-week, but the most recent low here is 342. I'm not sure if that is our all-time low. It could be. But above that, we do have 441 as well. Good level there. And then we have one more, which actually very clean here, guys. It's 489. Three good levels, 489, 441, and 342 are decent levels towards the bottom here. And again, we're sitting at 555 right now. So those levels are not a stretch if we're going to be very weak this morning on BBY. So towards the top, you're set. Do not need to add anything else. Here is CCL right now. So CCL, again, not looking good, guys. I mean, this stock, the catalyst about them, all the money they have spent, all the debt they're in, maintaining these ships and no travelers. I mean, it is just not a good mix. So right now, low of the pre-market 933, recent low here 873. We were lower all the way at 776 during the pandemic. We're not far from that. And then towards the top, guys, you do have your highs and lows for the last two trading days. In here, we do have a nice level that I think we should mark down. It's going to be right over here. Actually, right where the price action is. Slightly above it, actually, at 9. No, actually, right where it is, right there. Low of the pre-market, that is set for you there. And then towards the top, we have another one right over here, which is slightly around 970. So I think that's worth marking down. You got a little bit of resistance happening here on a couple of days, a little bit of support as well. So I think that's going to be good to have on CCL. So this is going to be a good one. It is on, we do have shares for short right now. I'm not sure how it's going to, if it's going to jump on short selling restriction. We'll be on the lookout for that. Here is Neo, guys. Again, Neo, this is my entertainment stock. I just don't know if I want to risk touching this. We've seen what has happened with that type of news. Unless they can strongly prove themselves here somehow, some way. And even then, do you really trust the information you get? We see now K, as Norm mentioned, do the exact same thing, swear up and down that no, they're legit. And look what happened here. 2040 is the low of the pre-market here. 1919 is a level here we have as well. And we also, towards the bottom, we do have a level at 1797. So again, a couple of stuff happening there. Down almost 7%. This morning with some good volume, 3.6 million shares traded. Towards the top, highs and lows of the last 2 trading days. And we do have a level here, 2164. Now, cars is a little bit harder to hide than coffee. So let's see if they can come out of this. Again, it's going to be, it'll be an interesting story to follow going forward. I'm sure Neo headquarters is not happy this morning with that. 7966, low of the pre-market on AMD today. We're trying to hold on to this level here. If we go to the left, we haven't been down here in a while. This is going to go back to 2021 now. So let's go over here. This is going to be our new 52-week low that we're setting up. And then last time we were in here was actually about a year ago, May, June timeframe 2021. We have a level of 78.38, and we have another level here at 77.23. So that's looking pretty good there. Towards the top right now, I think you have your highs and lows doing a pretty good job. Previous day close on AMD here. Traded very well yesterday, guys, towards the downside. Looking forward to another good day on AMD, whether it's short or long. Look, I want to see a definite good pre-market activity and intraday action like we did yesterday. Meta is actually strong today, guys. Up 1.3. High of the pre-market 162.85 was slamming level there. Towards the bottom, we're looking at 160.21, and then below this we do have 154.32. So pretty much set there on Meta this morning. They're looking good. Let's see where they go from here. And last but not least, we have Nvidia on deck. Let's remove some of these levels. Again, very similar to AMD, trying to hold some of these lows that we have created over the last couple of weeks here. Over at 158.10 is the low of the pre-market. 153.60 is the low of the last couple of days right in here. So pretty much very similar to what AMD has done. A lot of these tech companies doing the exact same thing. I'm going to put this level here, 156.50 as well. I think that'll be important to mark there also. So guys, we are all set here. Our moderators list is getting ready here, so I'll go to that in a second. Wait for a few more to pop on there. I have Mike, Susan, Thor, and Dima. We'll wait for just a few more and we'll get that going. Oh yes, we're sitting at 273. Yeah, 400. If we can get to 400, that would be great, guys. 1 minute left. Help us get there. That would be much appreciated. So let's get our moderators list here. We'll see what's going on, what our moderators like this morning. And let's see. I see Megan coming in with her list as well. Let me resize this over here. And here we go. All right, excellent. All right, let's see what our moderators are watching today. Today is an interesting day. We have Mike looking at Oxy, Meta. We have Susan looking at Oxy, SPY, and the Qs, all tech stocks today. Thor, the SPY, Qs, and PivotBot Alert. I'm surprised Thor's not watching CCL. I know that was used to be one of his favorite tickers to watch. Maybe he doesn't like the price down here as well, right? This 946. A lot of people don't like that lowish price there. Dima watching BBY, Oxy, Meta, and Apple, and Megan watching the SPY, the Qs, and Oxy this morning. So that is our list, guys. And we have today Thor and I believe Brian trading live this morning. So looking forward to that. The profit of profits as we get ready to start our trading day. So guys, thank you so much for you on YouTube for joining us this morning. Really appreciate it. We had an amazing closing bell yesterday. If you missed it, the video is up on YouTube. Definitely check it out. Such great information from Michael with Artie and Andrew yesterday. So do not miss that. It was a really good session. We'd love to have them back in the near future. So if you missed it, definitely check that out. We have another closing bell today, again at 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. So definitely tune in for that. We'd love to see you there. We'll see you in chat so we can get things going. All right, guys, we're sitting at 339. I'm going to stall for like 2 more minutes. Can we get 400? Can we do that? As we do that, I'll see if Brian brings out his watch list. Let's see what Brian is watching here. And oh, there it is. Buzzer beater. Brian. Excellent. Here's Brian's list, guys. Let's look at this. So Brian has Meta, CCL, UPST, TCOM, and the Qs this morning. So that is Brian's list. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us on YouTube. We'll see you tomorrow or for the closing bell today at 3:30. Have a great one and trade safe. See you guys.